In the freezing depths of the Cold War, the Soviet Union conceived a weapon of unimaginable power. Its name was RDS-220, but the world would come to know it as the Tsar Bomba, the Tsar of bombs. It was not just a weapon, it was a statement. On October 30th, 1961, a bomber flew towards the remote Arctic test site of Novaya Zemlya. But this desolate land was not entirely empty. 55 kilometers from ground zero stood the village of Severny. Its residents had no idea they were about to witness the apocalypse. At an altitude of 4 kilometers, the bomb detonated. The result was absolute devastation. In Severny, every wooden and brick building was completely leveled, wiped from the face of the earth in an instant. The destruction radiated outwards for hundreds of kilometers, shattering windows and damaging structures. The very landscape at the epicenter was scorched and melted into a smooth, glassy plain. A fireball 8 kilometers wide generated a mushroom cloud that soared into the upper atmosphere, and a shockwave so powerful it circled the entire planet 3 times. This terrifying demonstration of power horrified the world, accelerating the 1963 Partial Test Ban Treaty. The Tsar Bomba was a monster built to prove a point, leaving behind a legacy of fear and a scarred, empty landscape in the Arctic. On March 1, 1954, at Bikini Atoll, the United States prepared for Operation Castle Bravo. Scientists predicted an explosive yield of 6 megatons. They were catastrophically wrong. At 6:45 a.m., the device detonated with a staggering 15 megatons of force, 2.5 times the expected yield and 1,000 times more powerful than the Hiroshima bomb. A design flaw created the most powerful nuclear explosion in US history. The blast vaporized 3 islands and sent a colossal mushroom cloud into the stratosphere. But the real disaster had just begun. Winds carried a cloud of radioactive fallout eastward, directly over inhabited atolls. On Rongelap, islanders described a fine white snow falling from the sky. Children played in the deadly ash, unaware of the danger. Far away, the Japanese fishing boat, the Lucky Dragon No. 5, was showered with the same material. Its 23 crew members soon fell ill with acute radiation sickness. One, Aikichi Kuboyama, would later die. The fallout contaminated over 7,000 square miles of the Pacific. The people of the Marshall Islands were evacuated, but the damage was done. They suffered from burns, cancers, and birth defects for generations. The Castle Bravo incident exposed the terrifying, uncontrollable danger of atmospheric testing, sparking global outrage and pushing the world toward the Partial Test Ban Treaty. It was a tragic mistake, a lesson written in fire and poison. On the morning of December 6, 1917, the port of Halifax, Canada, was a critical hub for the war in Europe. In its narrow harbor, a fatal encounter was about to occur. The Norwegian ship SS Imo collided with the French cargo vessel SS Mont Blanc. The collision itself was not severe, but sparks ignited a fire on the Mont Blanc's deck. As the crew abandoned ship, horrified onlookers gathered on shore to watch the spectacle of the burning vessel drifting towards Pier 6. What they didn't know was that the Mont Blanc was a floating bomb, its hold packed with over 2,900 tons of high explosives destined for the war. At 9:04 a.m., the cargo detonated. The result was the largest man-made explosion the world had ever seen, an event not to be surpassed until the atomic age. An area of 2 square kilometers was instantly obliterated. The blast created a powerful tsunami and a shockwave that shattered windows 80 kilometers away. Nearly 2,000 people were killed, and 9,000 more were injured. To compound the tragedy, a severe blizzard struck the next day, burying the ruins in snow and hampering the desperate search for survivors. The Halifax Explosion was a catastrophic lesson in the devastating power that humanity could unleash long before the atom was split. On the morning of June 30th, 1908, a remote and desolate region of Siberia witnessed an event of cosmic proportions. Eyewitnesses hundreds of kilometers away reported seeing a column of bluish light, nearly as bright as the sun, moving across the sky. Then a flash and a sound like artillery fire echoed across the land. What they experienced was the Tunguska Event, a massive explosion, estimated to be 1,000 times more powerful than the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima, detonated in the atmosphere. The blast flattened 2,150 square kilometers of forest, knocking down an estimated 80 million trees in a radial pattern. The shockwave was felt as far away as Great Britain, and for several nights the sky across Asia and Europe glowed with an eerie light. Yet for over a decade the event remained a mystery. It wasn't until 1927 that the first scientific expedition led by Leonid Kulik reached the site. He expected to find a giant impact crater, but there was none. There was only a vast scorched graveyard of trees, all pointing away from a central point. The leading scientific theory today is that the Tunguska event was caused by the airburst of a meteoroid or comet fragment. The object entered the atmosphere at high speed and disintegrated in a fiery explosion before ever hitting the ground. It was a terrifying reminder of the destructive power that can arrive from space without warning. In the escalating Cold War, the United States pursued a weapon of unimaginable power, the hydrogen bomb. The concept, based on nuclear fusion, promised a destructive force far beyond the atomic bombs of World War II. The test was codenamed Ivy Mike. The device was not a bomb, but a massive multi-story cryogenic laboratory. It weighed 82 tons and was housed on the Pacific island of Elugelab in the Enewetak Atoll. Its purpose was singular, to prove that a large-scale thermonuclear reaction could be achieved. On November 1, 1952, the world changed forever. At 7:15 a.m. local time, Ivy Mike was detonated. The resulting explosion was staggering, yielding 10.4 megatons of energy, nearly 700 times more powerful than the bomb that destroyed Hiroshima. The fireball, 4 miles wide, completely vaporized the island of Elugelab. In its place, it left a crater over a mile wide and 160 feet deep. The mushroom cloud climbed 25 miles high and eventually spread out 100 miles across. The test was a terrifying success. It confirmed the feasibility of the Tela Ulam design and irrevocably escalated the nuclear arms race. With Ivy Mike, humanity had unlocked the power of the stars and entered the dreadful age of the hydrogen bomb.